from PRP Objective 3 examples. Okay, so we're still setting up proportions to solve these problems. They're getting a little bit more complex, so we really have to read carefully and think carefully as we're setting up these proportions. Okay? It says the store has a 40% off sale on headphones. With this discount, the price of one pair of headphones is $36. What was the original price of the pair of headphones? Okay, so our labels, we're going to set up a proportion. Our labels are percent and money. Okay? We have money and percent. So it was 40% off. Now remember, percent is out of 100. Okay, so if it's 40% off, that means we paid 60% of the original price. So our sale price is 60% of the original price. So that $36 goes with 60%. It doesn't go with 40% because that's the percent that we took away. We took away 40%, what's left is 60%. This $36 is 60% of the original price that we paid. Okay, now we're trying to figure out how much money is the original price. Well, the original price was 100%. It was the whole thing. It's what we started out with. So that's what we put there. So now we can cross multiply and divide to figure out what the original price was. So 36 times 100 is 3,600. Divide by 60. Cross out some zeros. That's going to equal 6. So 360 divided by 6 is 60, actually. It's going to be 60. Okay? So what was the original price? The original price was $60 right there. Good. So the tricky part on that question was figuring out that we needed to subtract the 40% and use the 60 in our proportion. If we had used the 40% in our proportion, it wouldn't have been right. It wouldn't have worked. Okay. Let's try another one. Okay, the manager at Gabriella's furniture store is trying to figure out how much to charge for a bookshelf that just arrived. The bookshelf was bought at a wholesale price of $147, and Gabriella's furniture store marks up all furniture by 60%. At what price should the manager sell the bookshelf? Okay, again, we're setting up a proportion. Our labels are money and percent. Okay, 147 was the original price. That's 100%. That's what we're starting with. So $147 is 100%. Okay, now they're marking it up 60%. So what we're doing is we're adding 60% to the original that we started with, giving us 160%. So we're trying to figure out, okay, how much did it cost at the markup price? 160%. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply, do 147 times 160, and then divide by 100. So 147 times 160 is 23,520. And then we divide by 100. We just move our decimal over twice. So that's going to be 235.20. So we should sell it for $235.20. Let's plug that in, check it, make sure that we're right. Good. Okay, now the tricky part of this one was understanding that we had to add 60%. All right, the previous one we had to subtract, this one we had to add. So it's really important that we think through carefully. Okay, do we need to add? Do we need to subtract? What would make sense? Okay, and some of that just takes practice to understand what to do. Okay, let's take a look at the next link. Okay, Aiden had a goal of finishing painting at least 80% of the 500 square meters of a house's walls by today. He actually finished painting 415 square meters today. Did he meet his goal, and why? Okay, so he finished 415 square meters. So we take 415 out of the total of 500 to figure out what percent that would be. Okay, the amount he actually got done out of the total. So 415 divided by 500 turns out to be 0.83. Now as a percent, move the decimal twice, that would be 83%. Okay, so he wanted to finish 80%. He actually finished 83%. Did he meet his goal? Yes, he met his goal. He painted, how much more did he paint? Okay, so he got 83%. So this is where we write a proportion. We have meters and percent. Okay, if 415 square meters is 83%, how much would be 80%? Okay, so we're gonna cross multiply and divide. Figure out what that turns out to be. So 415 times 80 divided by 83 turns out to be 400. Okay, so 400 would have been 80%. He did 415. So that means he did 415 minus 400 is 15. He did 15 meters more than his goal. All right, so first we figured out the percentage, then we set up a proportion to figure out how much more he did. Okay, so quite a few steps to that problem, but still using our proportions to do that. Let's try another one. A swimming pool had 2.5 million liters of water in it. Some water evaporated, and then the pool only had 2 million liters of water in it. What percent evaporated? Okay, this is a little bit less steps. We have million liters and we have percent. Okay, our labels. So we have liters and percent. We started out with 2.5 million liters. Okay, that was the original. That's 100%. All right, and then it went down to only 2 million liters. Okay, what percent was that? All right, we can cross multiply, divide, figure out what that's going to be. 2 times 100 is 200. 200 divided by 2.5 is 80. So then this would be 80. So what percent evaporated? It isn't 80% that evaporated. How much did it go down? Well, it went down 20% to get to 80. So it actually evaporated, 20% evaporated. We had to figure out from our original to what it is now, how much did it go down? Okay, so again, where understanding the context is really important. All right, that's all we have for examples. Good luck on your practice.